Hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Now, so this is the serious video, but I make these videos for lots of reasons. Number one, to empty my head. Stop me carrying stuff around. That's the truth. I make these videos for lots of reasons, okay? So I think if I can impart a little bit of knowledge or make you think about something, just keep you entertained for 10 minutes, maybe make you smile, whatever, you know. The videos are for lots of things, aren't they, these YouTube videos? They've got to be. So that's what I make videos for, really. It's for lots. It's a hobby, it's an interest, it's a bit of fun, it's, you know, whatever. I don't take it very seriously, as you know. I'm not bothered about figures, numbers. Please subscribe, and I'm not interested in any of that. I just do what I do, and I put a video up if and when. That's what I do. But I do like to empty my head sometimes in my videos. So this video is quite a serious video. It's to do with autism, and it's to do with the work that I used to do teaching. But just for a minute before we get to that, this is still serious, I think, but have you heard of sun dimming? I know it sounds like a Chinese restaurant, sun dimming. Absolutely disgusting. The British government have decided they're going to experiment with sun dimming. In other words, what they're saying is the chemtrails that I've been banging on about for years, that even people in my own family said, "Oh, you lost the plot, Brian, they don't exist." So the government have now said that chemtrails, chemical trails in the sky, do exist. Of course they do, and they have been using them to manipulate the weather. We know that. Was it Moscow that it all came out when it was the Olympics? They stopped the rain. The rain was due. They sent something up there, sprayed all this stuff, and it stopped the rain. Anyway, so sun dimming. The lovely British government, in their wisdom, have decided that we are too hot in this country. We have about 4 weeks of sun per year. Far too much, okay? The average temperature is about 16, 18, sometimes even 20 degrees. Can you imagine that? A whopping 18 or 20 degrees. It's so hot that just occasionally I take my coat off. That's how hot it can be. I've even been known to take my t-shirt off, not for very long, but I just take it off. It's pathetic. Now, the problem I've got with that, well, several problems, but what crops grow in this dimming, this sun dimming? If it's dark or black or very, very overcast, I see corn and maize and barley and that growing in the sunshine. And that, do you remember these yellow fields of rapeseed oil? They come out this time of year, but they need full sunshine. They look glorious, don't they? So I think things grow in sunshine, lots of light. Also, depression can take hold, and I'm worried about my depression. I have dysthymia. I'm worried about that. If we're in, you know, pretty much perpetual darkness or gloominess, I'm going to be pissed off. You have a lack of vitamin D when you're in that gloomy times, and that can trigger off all sorts of things to do with anxiety and depression. So that's what I'm worried about personally. Also, who owns the fucking atmosphere that they're going to spray this into? They don't own it, nor do I. They don't own it. They don't own the sun. They're going to spray these particles, and it's going to deflect the heat back to the sun. Okay, so it'll make the earth dim, but it'll make the sun twice as bright. But we won't know that because we won't be able to see, because it'll be dark here, or fairly dark here. So these nanoparticles and minuscule particles, they're going to be aluminium, barium, and a couple of other metals. So they spray them into the highest of the atmosphere. They float around for a day or two or whatever. The sun hits them rather than hitting Earth. and somehow they're supposed to deflect all that energy back to the sun. Okay, now eventually they will fall back down to Earth, of course. So who do you think is going to be breathing that shit into their lungs? That shit is going to end up in our watercourses. So we're going to drink it. That shit is going to fall on farmers' fields. Maize, barley, if it grows. It's going to fall onto fruit and veg and whatever. We're going to eat it. We're going to eat it, we're going to drink it, we're going to breathe it. What right have they got to mess around with Mr. Solarface? He's more mine than them. I love him more than them, quite clearly. What right have they got to mess around with the atmosphere, with the light, with the heat? Who are they to say it's too hot at 18 degrees? It's pleasant. It's pleasant. Who are they? And why do we allow it? I've never understood that. You know, government, just a few people, you know, maybe 200 people. And then you've got, I don't know, 60 million, is it? I don't know, whatever. Stand up. That's what we should do. I think Bastille Day in France celebrates the time they murdered the royal family. In, I think it was Italy 2 years ago, they threw the politicians in the skip. And I love that. Go into the House of Parliament, get say Starmer and say, come here, you country boy. Throw him straight in the fucking bin. Do that. Say you're rubbish, you're shit, that's where you belong. But anyway, that's a serious thing, isn't it? So there is what do we do about it? You know, there's a petition going around. I have signed it, of course. I would encourage you to sign it if you want to. If you don't. I'll try and put it either in maybe in the comments or in the description of this video. So that's that. It's a bit of a rant. I am absolutely fucking furious, to be quite honest, because you think of, if you've got, I don't know, a nephew or a niece or your daughter's little girl or your ill husband or, I don't know, somebody with lung disease or whatever, they're going to kill more and more and more people by spraying this shit everywhere, you know? And what right have they got to do it? It's not too warm. We don't want to be cold. Why do we want to be cold? We have about a month a year, as I say. But anyway, that's that. So I had to write this down because, I got a bit of Slurpee going on here, so cheers. So, calm down, Bri. I've had to scribble some notes down because I might not remember it really, but I wanted to talk for 5 minutes about autism. And what I wanted to talk about is the amount of kids in the UK, because I don't know about the rest of the world, with autism now. And it's massive, absolutely massive. I can give you some facts and figures and what have you. 80 years ago, it was 1 in 10,000 had autism or was diagnosed with autism. 1 in 10,000. And then about 60 years ago, it was 1 in 2,500. Today, it's 1 in 35. 1 minute. What are you doing? Can you come back in here? Come back in here. Thank you. My little boy, he was very, very sick. Went over the fields and he would not stop licking. You'll see it. There's a video called And Relax. No, And Pause. He would not stop licking. When we got home, he was terribly sick, really, really bad, bless him. I fed him, because that was in the morning, maybe 8 o'clock, we was out there. I fed him at about 5, because he was a bit off all day, just a bit lethargic. I fed him at about 5, And poor little thing, within half an hour, he threw it all up. Really bad. Then he wanted his treats, and I didn't know whether to give him a treat or not. Anyway, fingers crossed, but I gave him one treat and he managed to keep it down. So he ate nothing yesterday. And then he was out there just going, Zup. So I thought, oh dear. Anyway, so basically what it means is when I was a kid, for instance, autism, there would have been one child in about every sixth secondary school. One child in about every 6 schools, about 400 kids per school. On the 6th school, there would have been one child. Now there is one child in every single class of every single school. And there's more than one in a lot of cases. Okay, so I'm just going to rattle through this really, but let me just tell you this. You can think whatever you want to think, but vaccines are not mandatory in the UK. And they cannot be given without your consent. Nobody can vaccinate your child unless you say yes. I tell you why I'm saying that. My belief, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong or whatever, I believe it's MMR. I believe the 3, it's measles, mumps and rubella. I believe when you combine them, I believe it's too much for the brain. That's what I believe. And I've always believed this. When you pay privately, and I've encouraged my family to pay privately, there's no autism. Because you pay privately for one, then you have another one, then about 6 months later you have the other one, and there's no autism. When you have the 3, MMR, measles, mumps and rubella, there's a lot of cases of autism. Now, I worked at a college, in a particular year, I worked at a college and there were 31 students there. 30 of them, because I had to do their medical records and stuff like that, 30 of them had the MMR. One didn't. But 31 obviously were autistic, but 30 of them had the MMR. Now, I was speaking to somebody very high up in the National Health, and she was really condescending and whatever. She said, oh no, you're totally wrong, Bran. She said, the figures don't stack up. I said, what does that mean? She said, the data. I said, data. Whoever puts that data in needs a bollocking, because any data can be misused, misrepresented, whatever. I could tell you the sexiest man in Britain now has a bald head and a white beard. Now, do you know that's true? It is fact. Don't laugh. Stop fucking laughing. I'll tell you how it's true. Because I said so. I asked one person and I agreed. All right. Now, I could choose 5 other bald-headed men, couldn't I? And tell you that the sexiest man in Britain has got a bald head. Because I've asked a number of people. And 100% of people said, yeah, you're right, the bald-headed old git, whatever. Things can be used, manipulated, whatever. She said, no. She said, Bran, the numbers don't stack up. The data, I don't know where you're getting your figures from. And I said, from real life, I work with these people. I know these people. And she said, well, maybe they're just unlucky. I said, yeah, maybe they are. Maybe. It's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? Don't you think? So while I was there, I thought, well, I'll have a look at the next school. Because the next school was connected to the one. It was a college, actually. But I thought I'll have a look at the next one. Can't remember the figures, but it was massive. Absolutely huge. There was about 120, something like that, there at this particular place. And I think probably 101 or whatever had the MMR. I think that speaks for itself. I don't know, but who knows? So anyway, my advice is to never give your child the triple MMR jab. Never. Okay, it's that simple. Never, never, never. And I'll tell you what, when you look at what's in them, there's a fetal bovine serum. Bovine, that's animal, right? So you might be a bloody vegetarian. So they take this out of the animal, and it's really not very good. Not very good for our system. Do a little bit of research on there. So fetal bovine serum. See what that does to the system. And it also contains neomycin. The MMR jab contains neomycin. Neomycin, I know they're different. They tried it. They tried this on mice and rats. Tell you what happened. In rats, this caused anxiety and impaired social interactions. Autism. And they still gave it to human beings. They still are giving it to human beings. Don't forget, vaccines are not mandatory in the UK and they cannot be given without your consent. Now, my mum was fully vaccinated after 2 vaccines. So if you think of somebody, if my mum was alive now, she'd be nearly 90, you know, or whatever she'd be. So somebody of 80, 90, 100, 2 vaccines and they are fully vaccinated. Because I was born in I'm 26 and shit. Okay, I'm 62. I was born in 1962. You can see that on my hand, it says. So I was born in 1962, so somebody about my age, about 60, I was fully vaccinated after 7 vaccines. My mum was fully vaccinated after 2. I was fully vaccinated after 7. People my age who had children who were fully vaccinated after 14. Right? So I had 7, their mums and dads had 7, but the children had 14. They're fully vaccinated after 14. A child today is fully vaccinated after 69 vaccines. 69, right? My mum was 2, I was 7. 69 vaccines, and they are currently working on 200 more. They're testing 200 more vaccines. If they get the go-ahead, they won't, but if they did, it would be 269. Now, they will get the go-ahead for half, they always do. So there will be 169. So the kids that are young now, their children will have 169 vaccines, guaranteed. So my advice is never, ever give the child triple. You know, look into the vaccines, look into the fetal bovine serum. It's not good. Look into that. And look at neomycin. We should never put neomycin into our system. If neomycin has made mice and rats and monkeys and things like that, made them socially impaired, in other words, it gave them animal autism, if there is such a thing, and we're giving that to human beings. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, there you go, really. I'm amazed and I'm upset. I'm upset the fact that there's so many children now with autism. When you have a child with autism, it is, you know, your life, you give your life over to that condition. You really do. And even a milder form, you know, Asperger's and stuff like that, it depends on how it affects people and everything. I've got a friend and her little boy is, I think he's 11, maybe 12, something like that. And poor little thing, he's a good kid, he's a lovely little boy, he goes to school, he enjoys his school and, you know, he's got 1 or 2 friends. But when things go wrong, he can't deal with it. He doesn't know how to deal with it. He hasn't got that in his head. And what he calls kicking off, he goes kicking off, but he can hurt himself, he can damage people, he can punch and hit his mum, he can smash the house up. He's just a little boy. When he's 15, 16, when he's 18, when he's a big lad, he'll have to be in some kind of a secure unit because people won't be able to handle him because of the size. And, you know, his mum, my friend, she's given her life over really to doing the best for him. And it's so sad. And what's sad is a couple of things really, is that poor little boy, he didn't ask to have that. It's a lot to shoulder, a lot to cope with. And just to end this, I think what's really sad is it probably could have been prevented. You don't want to blame anybody, of course. We all do the best in life for everybody. But if he had the separate measles, then mumps, then sometime after the rubella, he probably would be absolutely fine. Probably. It's 99% certain that he'd be fine, you know, so it's only 1%. Yeah, it's awful, isn't it? You know, it needs looking into. The government are not doing it, by the way. The government are not interested. They really couldn't care less. And there they are, spraying particles in the atmosphere, your atmosphere, my atmosphere. Anyway, it makes me bloody angry. I am going to go outside with my little dog to play B-A-double-L. Oh, you're listening to every word. I know, he's starting to move already. And take my Slurpee out there and play B-A-double-L. We'll be back another day. The next video, I did promise you a funny video. It is on the way and I am working on it. So, who knows? It'll probably be next. Unless something happens in the world, like anything really. Starmer, the government, something might happen. King Charlie, bloody idiot. Something might happen with him. Anyway, we'll be back another day. Take good care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'm sending you lots of love. And if you have autism, if you have autistic children or whatever in your family, I love you. I do love you. And I love the fact that you're working so hard to give a decent quality of life to your child. Be well.